Guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lou. Coming to you live from Accelerate Life University, XLR8Life.com. Coach Lou will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the motivation, the energy, the life, and all the success you really want and deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lou.
Get ready to Monday, guys. Yes, remember the old thing with the wrestling? Let's get ready to rumble. Well, let's get ready to Monday, because your rumble is your Monday, guys. How you start this week out, if you start out rumbling, ready to go, ready to rock, we will have an amazing week. If we start our week out in a vague fog, we're going to have a vague and foggy week. We started out and go, let's get ready to Monday. Say it with me. Are you ready? Let's get ready to Monday. I am ready, guys. I'm ready to deliver to you one of the most exciting shows I think that we're going to do all year long. Because I have a question for you. What if you could find the one thing, just one thing, to change your life? Okay, well, let me share with you a little bad news. There is no quick fix, easy overnight oats approach to life. The good news is there is that one thing that can totally shift you into a new direction of life. One thing. And you're like, uh-oh, sounds like I'm going to get sold something this morning. No, I'm not selling anything to you this morning, guys. What I'm here to talk to you about is that one thing in life that can shift, change the direction of your life, change the direction of where you're going, and make a difference. Okay? Do you know your one thing? Okay? Do you know that there's something you should be doing, be participating in, learning, growing with? Do you know that there's this one thing that would make a difference, but you're just not doing it? Okay. Would you like to find out what it is? Would you like to dig into it and find out what is that one thing that could really make a difference for me to let me make a difference for everybody else? It's really not that hard. Everything we teach here on Breakthrough with Lou is not that hard, guys. It just has to get done. But then you've got to have the reason you're doing it and so forth. So let me ask you, what if there was really the one thing, like the magic weight loss pill, the internet money machine that could just make you money while you sleep, the perfect dating app that comes with a return policy if you don't like who you dated on it, that would guarantee you're going to find the perfect spouse if you're single, okay? What if you could learn a language while you sleep? That Learn the Language While You Sleep app, or that 5-minute no effort abs that you never have to go in the gym for. Seriously, what if there was one thing to turn around this blank spot, you fill in the blank, in your life? What if there was one thing to turn your finances around? What if there was one thing to turn your relationship around? What if there was one thing to turn your health around? Just one thing that if you actually did it, would turn it all around for you. Wow. Seriously, what if that exists? You may say, Coach, you're crazy. It's not one thing that's going to cure it all. Or you might say, bring it on, baby. I say, bring it on, baby. I'd rather fail in the process of bring it on, baby, than go, oh, you're crazy, I'm not going to try. Wow. Okay. We all want that magic one thing that we don't have to do anything. Well, I'm going to let you in a little secret early, and if you jump off the show right here, you've got pretty much everything right on that spot, and that is, there is that one thing, you just got to do it. Okay. So I went to Life Surge this weekend. Great program. Just as a little side note, as we're starting this morning, and I'm going through their Facebook group, and I'm like, people are really juiced up and excited about the event, and I thought it was awesome. And they sold some classes, next level classes during it, which I found was a very tasteful process. I mean, you rent this entire church out, you have all this staff, all this stuff, and they had Eddie Milet was speaking there. just a host of amazing speakers, very well done event, very inexpensive compared to most that I've done as far as going to, motivational and growth events. And there's this gal on there just whining about one of the speakers because he was kind of like me, rough around the edges. It was a Christian event. So to preface that, it was, a lot of the language was, mild and very loving and a very, very loving message. But, this one guy, he's a little rough around the edges, like your coach here. And this girl was just bashing him. Oh, he was just picking on people and making fun of people with special needs. And the ladies, making reference to what nationality were the cleaning ladies. Well, no, he wasn't picking on this kid with special needs. He was talking about how this little girl that he grew up around, long story short, she was Down syndrome or something, and her love for God was so cool that it inspired him. And he kind of, talked like she, in worded sentences like she did, that, that it was just the cutest thing in the world. And somebody was offended by that. And I was like, wow. And I'm going, okay, don't be judgmental. This person obviously has a reason. Then they were offended by the fact that they sold the next level classes, a package of 6 3-day classes for $97 that are really amazing. And I was like, that's a deal compared to what, most of the events and classes I've taken. But at that one thing, the difference there was the one thing, what I looked at and said, wow, very tastefully run event. And yeah, they got to pay for the event. And yes, it's, it's also a business, or else they can't do their mission. And another person looks at it and is calling it a scam. And I was like, oh boy, how can I help this person without being nasty and going, are you serious? But that's the thing in the world that's kind of my one thing. How do I help more people, not hurt anybody's feelings, but don't dumb myself down in the process? That's how I grow this show. That's how we continue to grow as a community. But I'm like, ooh, it was very refreshing to be around people who call it like it is from a grace standpoint. All weekend. It was great. But anyway, that was just kind of my side shoot there is maybe if we all learned how to communicate just a little bit better with each other and respect each other's opinions and respect the flow of people who work and bring you something great, it would be a great world instead of that, I'm offended, or I'm mad, or what do you mean I got to pay for this? Everybody else is giving everything away for free. Well, if we keep giving it away for free, there's no value. Okay. One last thing on that, real quick. They did a little thing this weekend where they had like 7 ladies come on stage, or 10 ladies, and they did this little financial game. It was like a game show. And they finished it up, and in the game, they made like $800,000 in investing. It was just kind of a cool, little example. And out of the 10 of them, the MC says at the end of the game, he goes, what can I do for you ladies to, thank you for participating today? And they were all like, split the $800,000 with us. And there wasn't really $800,000 made, and everybody laughs and giggles. And he said, but how about I, pay for you guys to go to the classes? And it was like, wow. And it was amazing to see. The one gal cried. She was so happy. It was tears of joy. A couple of them were like, yeah, okay, cool. And I leaned over to the gal that was sitting next to me, Mary, and I said, how many of them do you think are even going to show up for the 6 days of classes? She was like, well, I know one, the girl who was crying. I said, yep. I said, the others might. I said, who do you think will really do anything with that? The girl who was overwhelmed with joy, she cried. And I said, what do you learn from that? What do we learn from this? Sometimes if you're not invested into something, it has no value. Now, obviously, your time is an investment, and there's more than just paying for it. But I guarantee you, the people that paid to go to the next level of classes, 90% of them will show up. Probably 10% will show up that were gifted them. And it weighed on my heart a little bit. I was like, how do you, even if something's free? I mean, I don't want you to go, I'm not going to go to, get on Breakthrough with Lou every 3 times a week because it's free. Okay, well, it's not free for me to operate it, but I'm just saying, how do you get the value? Well, I'm going to commit the time to do it. I'm going to commit the time to doing the exercises you give me, coach. Okay, see, now you're vested. Make sure you're vested in what you do one way or the other. Okay, so let me get on here. I got a little side trip there, but I wanted to preface this for this morning. So we all have this friend or relative that we know, and we say, if Cousin Joe would just do this, he'd get that done. If Cousin Joe would just go look for a job, he'd have employment and could move out of his mother's basement. Or something like that. Okay, I mean, we all know or have this relative, or maybe even have been this person at some point. Hint, hint. If they would just do this, they would get this done. True. Why don't you apply it to yourself? Why don't I apply it to myself? Interesting. We don't always do it, right? We know their one thing. Why don't they? Do we know our one thing? Is the question. Are we doing the exact same thing? Is there an area in life where we are blinding out the one thing? And if you're listening and not watching, I'm covering, like horse blinders. Is there an area of life that we're blinding out something that we should be doing? That one thing we should, and we should all over ourselves, instead of making it a must. Remember last week we talked about the must and the should? Okay. So what is a must for you? This is what's going to be important. So before we really dive in this morning, I want to remind you that there might be more than one thing because you have different areas of life. Okay, but right now, what is the biggest one thing you need to grab onto that you should be doing, that you must do if you want what you're after in life? Okay. The funny thing is, you probably already have a clue, or maybe even a pretty clear picture of what this one thing is, okay? So it might be your why that you want it, that you're clear on. It could be what it is you want that you're clear on, okay? It could be a process of getting what you want that you're clear on. It could be the state of being that it'll give you when you get it, that you're very clear on. When I get a job, I will no longer be on the eviction list of the apartment. That's a pretty basic one, but it could be something that's pretty damn important. It could be your one thing right now is keeping a roof over your head. The other one could be, I really want to start this charity or this community thing. I can't do that until I go to the local government and get the permit to do the event. Okay, that's the one thing holding you back. Well, go do it. Okay, it's not always that easy. It's not always something that simple, and sometimes it is. This is what I'm trying not to do, is overcomplicate this for you this morning. And in the same respect, understand that this could be a whole heck of a lot of work. Okay, but when you hone your focus down, okay, to those, when I just talked about those 4, and yet a combination of the 4 is the best. When you know why, what the process is and the state of being it's going to give you, when you get all those together, you're going to take action because you're going to want that state of being working backwards. You're going to learn to do the process of it, but that's also going to give you what you want. And then a powerful why is going to get you there. Okay. So when you focus, it eliminates all these distractions. Okay, I'm focused on you right now. Okay, if you're listening, I'm looking you dead in the eye in the camera. Okay, this eliminates distractions. All this stuff out here, the phone beeping, the kids tugging at you, something, the shiny thing over there. Okay, and come to think of it, most people that watch this show and are involved with what we do are a little bit ADD. We tend to jump. Okay, so eliminate the distractions. And when you eliminate distractions, oftentimes the big O happens. You eliminate overwhelm, which is amazing. We want to eliminate overwhelm. We don't want to feel overwhelmed all the time. Okay. Overwhelm leads back to distraction, which leads to more overwhelm. That's a vicious circle right there, guys. So I ask you a question. This one thing that you know is what you need to do or should be doing or must do. Hopefully it's a must do for you. How would you feel if you've already done it and you're already on the other side of it? You'd be like, ooh, that would take such a weight off my chest. Well, why don't you just do it and get the weight off your chest? That would be my suggestion. Just do it. You might be like, well, I'm not totally prepared, or I don't know. I'm going to go speak somewhere and be on stage, and I haven't prepared a speech. Let me tell you something. I remember early on, I get invited to speak at a church at a health fair. And I get there, and the night before I wrote this entire speech and everything I was going to talk about, and I've got it and I'm ready, and I'm like, all right, it's not memorized, but you know, I can pretty much read this off. And I get in there, and it was a little different than I thought. It wasn't what I pictured event-wise, and my crowd was a little different crowd than I was ready, prepared to speak to. I really had no idea what the age groups, the demographics of the crowd was. And I'm like, ooh, why am I really here? So I start off, and I'm kind of basically reading my script, and somebody pops a question, and all of a sudden we trail, and we're going with it, and we're running with it, and all of a sudden the group is leaned in, and I see they're getting value, and it's really just, it's powerful, and stuff's coming out of me. I'm going, I didn't even know I knew that. I didn't even know I could field that question. I didn't know I was qualified to help this person. I didn't know that and next thing you know, it took a shift totally away from what I planned on saying, because it was not what my crowd needed. Okay. Everybody had like 30-second segments, or 30-minute segments, 30-second, like that would ever happen. 30-minute segments, and the people that had gotten me invited were following up after me. And about an hour and 15 minutes, the pastor and his assistant, they come out and they're like, guys, you're gonna have to go visit with Lou back at his table, and we have a bunch of other speakers, and we don't want to pull you down, but we see you delivering value, and thank you and bless you and etc. But get off the stage. And people are like, can I have one more question? And it really just hit me that it was not about the preparation. It wasn't about writing it. It wasn't about philosophizing about what I'm going to tell these people. It was about, what am I going to deliver to my community out there? Okay. What am I going to deliver that has value to them? And that quickly took form, and it was not what I had written down. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. You got to hit that one thing. That one thing was deliver to these people. Deliver something of value that makes a difference. It wasn't tell them exactly about the balance of diet and fitness and stress reduction and everything else. It was about somebody needed to hear something out there, and it poured through. So it was great. But it was a lesson learned, that it was all the preparation and all the philosophizing and thinking about it and writing it all out doesn't matter as much as taking the action. That one thing was to get out there and realize it wasn't about me, it was about delivering to my group. And that was really awesome. So that's what I'm talking about in your life. Now you might be going, well, I don't want to go speak. Okay, well, I get that. Maybe it's about getting a raise at your job because your family, you need to get them into a bigger house. You got a baby on the way. Maybe you're behind in your retirement, and you really need to step into some investing now. So, because you should have done this 20 years ago. I don't know what it is for you, but it does follow the same steps. It's the same tools. So ask yourself right now, heartfelt, put your hands over your heart and ask this. What is the one thing that would make the biggest difference if I just did it, started it today. And I realized that sometimes it's not one thing, 1 second, you just don't do it right now and that's it, it's over and done. Maybe it is something that you do over the next week, month, year, 10 years. But what is the one thing right now? And there's going to be more of these. And, it's not one and done. But what is the one thing you could begin today, do today, start today, that would make the biggest difference? It'll move the needle of your life from flat and idling to full throttle in whatever it is, whether that's your health, whether that's your relationships, whether that's your parenting, whether it's your job, your business, your spirituality, whatever it is. What is going to make the biggest difference? Make that decision today. Okay? So Wednesday, we're going to get into really how your shoulds and musts are going to play in here. This is all week. This is an all week series, guys. Okay? So, and we're also going to dig up that one thing that'll really make the difference. By the end of this week, you're going to know what it is and have an actionable plan to take action on it. Isn't that cool? Okay. And it could be something totally different than you think when we really dig into it, or it could be exactly what you think, but you haven't taken any action on it. Okay. It's too early. It's Monday morning. We don't know for sure. Haha, yeah, we're going to really dig into it. But for now, what I want you to do is kind of go, what is the one thing that would do the most for me if I dug in and did this and started it now? What is the one thing that's stopping me from breaking through? What is the one thing that's stopping me from starting? The opposite of start is stop. So if it's stopping you, it means you're not starting to make progress. Okay? This isn't about one and done, overnight success, this, that, the other. Now you could be going, I need to start a YouTube channel, and you've been putting it off, and you put this really killer video on, and all of a sudden overnight you're viral. Could that happen? Yes, it could. Is it probable? No. Is it possible that you could get the ball rolling and build it into viral and do your thing and get your word out there, whatever it is your word is? Or, as an example, okay? Could it be that you don't have a job, but you've kind of just given up and you just sit home, eating Cheetos and watching Jerry Springer? I borrowed that from Tony Robbins. I love it when he says that. But really, maybe you open up Indeed, or you open up the Craigslist and you go, what's out there? There's something out there. Might not be exactly what you want initially, but you got to get the ball rolling and continue growing. You might say, well, I got to take a icky job just, serving at the local restaurant. Okay, well, that's better than nothing. But in the meantime, you might meet somebody there who goes, you got way more potential in this. What are you doing? Well, I'm really, I'm a graphics designer, or I'm this, but kind of on the hunt. Hey, we're looking for one of those. But if you didn't go and do, it wouldn't happen. Nobody's going to come in your living room and go, come to work. I got something for you. I got a business I'm going to hand you. Okay? My mom used to always say, she was so funny, well, I wish you could find a older auctioneer in the business that's nicer than your dad, and would take you under his wing and teach you how to do it and then turn the business over to you. And I'm like, who's going to come find me like that? Nobody's going to just come find you and go, hey kid, I want to teach you the business and give you my business. I was like, But then you go, well, you got to get out there too and do something so that. And it was never my thing to go work for somebody and work my way up the ranks or anything like that. I've been entrepreneurial spirit since I've been 10. But the truth of the matter is the more you do, the more you're going to expose yourself to opportunity. You got to do in the arena of what you want to do, what you want more of, to expose yourself to the opportunity. In my case, being an auctioneer, if you're not doing any auctions, nobody's going to know that you're an auctioneer. If you don't do Breakthrough with Lou when there's only a few people on, and you want to say, well, I want to wait till I have thousands of listeners every day, you're never going to have it. You have to start doing first before you ever get. And when you get, you've got to give so you can get more. And that's a constant give and take as such. Now, it's not a trade. It's not like, well, I'm only going to give what you give me. But it is, when you give, you always get back. That's just a law of God, law of the universe, however you want to call. That is just the way it is. The more you give, the more you get back. And it's not always proportionate or anything else, but you got to start. I've heard it, I think it's Tony Robbins that said, it's like tithing or giving to somebody and helping in your community. He said, if you won't give $1 out of 10, you're certainly not going to give $1 million out of 10 million. If you won't give somebody 15 minutes of your time to help them, you're certainly not going to give hours and hours and hours later on when you make it big. Does it make sense? So what is that one thing? Okay. What is that one thing that you've been putting off that you know you should be doing, or if you really must do? That's the thing you really want to go after. And what is in it for you? What is this going to give to you? Okay. Some people say, money. I'm going to make money by what I'm doing. Well, that's great, but what's the money going to give you? Oh, freedom. Ooh, ability to help. Ooh, that's much more exciting than just paper pieces with faces on them. Okay. So what are we going to do on Wednesday? We're going to rock it, guys. We're going to get into that should and must. We're going to figure out exactly what this one thing is for you right now. And again, I'm going to preface this and I'm going to let you go because I'm running a little long this morning. The one thing right now that is the main one. Now, the one thing has little danglers all around it. Like the big shark has a little fish going with it. There are a lot of sub-modalities to what you're going to be doing. And there might be a one thing in your health that's important, one thing in your finances. It's not just one and done. So please don't walk around and say, I only need to do one thing. But the major focus needs to be on that one thing right now. Okay, can we agree? High five it? Let's do it. All right, guys, live with faith, energy, passion. Absolutely always live your dreams. This is Coach Lou. We're going to sign it off for this morning, and you guys have an absolutely amazing, amazing day. And let me know in the comments and chats what you think, what I can do for you, what you can be ready for Wednesday. If you have questions, let me know. Have an awesome day.
Ready to take it to the next level? Tune in to XLR8Life.com for our live shows, encore presentations, life-changing courses, and live coaching with Coach Lou himself. As Coach Lou always says, live with faith, energy, love, passion, and always live your dreams.